Welcome to Keeping in Sync with Microsoft 365 for this week, the 18th of July. As every week, just remember that dates change and your organization may have certain settings that will prohibit certain things from being available in your environment. So please don't go crazy like robots in the park and start killing everybody. Starting in Microsoft 365 Apps and Services. Now, Microsoft will soon be releasing a slimmed down version of Outlook for Android for devices known as Outlook Lite. It's mainly designed for lower powered devices and older operating system versions. Now, it also doesn't support the Android work profile. So if you're using Android in a managed environment, then this will not work for you. And as you can also expect with a Lite version, this actually has a whole lot less features. Initially, it also won't be available in Australia. So if you are still using a Samsung Galaxy S6 from 2015, you may want to wait a little bit longer to use this app. But as I said, it's not available in Australia initially, but may be available in Australia at some point. However, if you're in Argentina and some of the other countries where it is available, it'll be there from early August. Now, in Microsoft Stream, in the Stream portal, we have the ability to record videos from our browser and to add various effects to those. It's been there for a few years, but as Microsoft rolls forward with transitioning the Stream functionality directly into SharePoint and OneDrive, users can now actually use the Stream camera to record their webcam, record their screen, add edits such as ink, text backgrounds, and filters, and upload directly to your OneDrive. Now, future iterations of this camera will actually include more features, such as adding music clips. This particular feature is rolling out early July to late August to the office.com portal. As I said, it's already available in the Stream portal, but that is going away. Now, if you use content types in SharePoint and you try to delete them, you'll soon see the set of the dependent lists or libraries and be able to take action on those dependencies and then re-attempt to delete content types or reconsider the delete operation based on those dependencies in the first place. Now, this may sound a little bit dull and you may be thinking, what's a content type? But for people who know what a content type is, they will care, and this is a much better experience than what happens now, where they can be deleted without any warning about what the dependent items that might be affected are. So this new warning will be rolling out late July to the end of August. Now, in other news, in Outlook for the web, when you click on yes, no, or maybe, when you're RSVPing to a meeting invite, instead of simply completing the RSVP workflow at that point, a dialog box will expand and give you more options before completing this workflow. You'll be able to review options such as emailing the organizer as well as others before sending the final response. Whereas right now, you just press it and away it goes. This particular update is rolling out late July to early August. And if you use the Math Practice Quiz functionality in OneNote for Windows 10, well, unfortunately, it's going away for a period of time, but will be replaced as part of the new Math Assistant functionality rolling out to OneNote Desktop later this year. This existing feature will disappear from OneNote for Windows 10 in mid-July, so it's already gone. In Microsoft Teams, a few updates this week. So do you remember back in the old days of Skype for Business when the video gallery was a separate window from meeting content, or you could pop it out to be? Well, now that feature is finally coming to Microsoft Teams, albeit 5 years later than it should have. For now, however, the feature is only supported on devices with specific hardware capabilities. Look, the majority of modern devices with medium and high-end hardware will support popping out content into a shared window while you're in a meeting. As Microsoft continues to fine-tune the experience, there will be hopefully more supported devices in the future. I would probably say that most people will be able to see it on your average laptop, just not on your really, really cheap, low-powered ones. But this particular feature is rolling out early August to the end of September, and I must say it's fantastic, just like it used to be in the Skype for Business days. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you young whippersnapper. Also, in the world of meetings, Microsoft is actually updating the user experience for how in-meeting notifications are displayed. They'll now be more consistent in design and consistent in position when they're displayed. So they'll be in the top center of the meeting window as bubbles stacked on top of each other. This will avoid overlaps and give the user, you, a cleaner visual experience, although as you can see by this screenshot, will overlap whoever was in the middle of the gallery. Now, in addition, you'll actually be able to snooze repeat notifications such as chat bubbles. Now, personally, I've had this feature for a while and I'm not a huge fan of it, as the smaller notifications and also the fact that they're kind of a black box, I find blend into a little bit too easily in with the overall Teams window experience, and they don't stand out as clear as they did when we had the blue bar right at the top. I'll just have to suck it up and get used to it because it's not a setting you can change. But be aware. Now, this particular change is actually rolling out early August to late September. Also, in the world of meetings, when creating a poll, you'll now have the option to create or utilize the new ranking question type, which will be available to you when you're creating the polls app in a Teams meeting. When you create that, when meeting owners create and launch a ranking poll and collect input from the attendees, you'll be able to also share the results live. I don't honestly know why people would be ranking their favorite animal and how it's a fish, but also some could argue that fish is actually technically not an animal. But anyway, moving on, this is rolling out early to late September. Dogs for the win. On the chat side of things from Teams, when you receive a one-on-one chat from an external user, you'll actually now receive an invitation to accept or block that external user. This will actually also give you the ability to block external users at any point. So if you've accepted them, you can then block them later, which will actually revoke access to your presence, as well as you receiving any incoming messages from them. So very good feature for assisting with cybersecurity. This is rolling out mid-August to early September. Now, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint are actually now available as Teams personal apps. So what this means is that you can actually have them showing in your app launcher on the left side of Teams, as opposed to just being attached to the file itself, and that's the only way you can open them. So there's actually no changes to how you, the existing behavior of how you open Word, Excel, and PowerPoint files in Teams. However, these new particular versions of these personal apps will actually give you additional functionality, such as the ability to pin those apps to the app bar, as I was saying, on the left for an easy entry point, because who doesn't want to do more things in Teams? You'll also have the ability to right-click the app in the app bar and pop it out into a new window, which will allow you multitasking between Teams chats and document editing. If for some reason you don't want to use the actual PowerPoint, Excel, or Word apps, or you're on a machine legitimately that doesn't have them installed. And you'll also, clicking on them, have an app homepage to navigate documents, view recommended files, or create a new file. Now, as a result of this, you will also see some changes to the Office ribbon in these apps within Microsoft Teams that will help declutter them. So you'll be able to see that Open in Browser and Open in Desktop app will actually move to the Mode menu. There will also be the introduction of the Share menu, which is consistent with Office for the web. The Conversation button is removed, and you'll also have the introduction of in-app search bar in the header, like you have in the rest of Office. Now, those are actually available now. And also from, I guess, the world of Teams and channels and those kind of things, back in the early days of Teams, before most people actually used it, new channels actually came with a OneNote page, which was unfortunately replaced with the wiki feature. Many of us have argued that the wiki is far inferior and should be removed. And finally, Microsoft has listened. So as of mid-August, Microsoft will actually stop provisioning wikis with newly created channels. You'll still be able to add them as a tab if you want, but just any new channel you create from mid-August won't have a wiki attached to them. Why am I jumping for joy at this? Because, to be quite frank, the wiki functionality is pure rubbish. Sorry to anybody from Microsoft who was involved with it, but I've made my feelings known to you back then as well. mainly because you can't move a wiki to anywhere once it's been created. Can't move it to another channel. And the thing is, at best, you can convert an existing wiki file, the .mht file behind the scenes, into a HTML file that you can open in a browser, but you can't re-add it into another channel. It's just stuck in that team, in that channel that it was created in. So that's why I particularly hate it. So good riddance to bad rubbish. Bye-bye wikis, or newly created wikis from mid-August. Now, suggested replies, they've been available in chats, and they will soon be available in group chats in the Teams desktop, allowing you to select a quick response when you're mentioned in the group chat, just like when you're having a one-on-one conversation. Now, this will actually be enabled by default, and you can turn it off yourself if you want within the Teams app. Now, my suggestion would be to not necessarily rely on this feature too much, as it might seem a bit impersonal if multiple people are responding with exactly the same reply in a group chat. Now, this particular feature is rolling out early to mid-September. And that's it for keeping in sync with Microsoft 365 this week.